Hi, everyone. This is Tom, and I'm often asked, whatever happened to you at Kensington Parkwood Elementary in Montgomery County, Maryland? You were only there 1 year, and then you transferred out. Here's the story. So my friend contacts me and says, hey, you enjoy doing all these creative things in your classroom. Why don't you come to our school where we have the arts in each classroom? And so at Kensington Parkwood, when you teach math, you might often use puppetry or performances or a lot of different types of arts in math or science or reading. It is very creative, and I think the kids learn a heck of a lot by performing it. So I said, yeah, I think that's a great idea. So I went and I interviewed. I got the job, and I was ready to go. And the principal said to me, first thing, you have to go to MADI training. MADI is the arts training that you do when you go to you go up to the University of Maryland and you stay off campus in a hotel, and then they have these training sessions pretty much all day for 7 days. And so I wasn't able to stay at home at my house and tutor the kids I was working with. I had to take the week off basically and stay in this hotel. But I did it, and I learned a lot, and I really enjoyed myself. It was a lot of work. But the principal afterwards came to me and said, okay, that was great, but you have to do this again next summer. I said, no. I just did it this summer. I'm not going to do this again next year. And so the principal said, that would be a deal breaker. And I was surprised. I couldn't believe that he was holding tight to this because I had shown that I was pretty good at this stuff. So he wasn't going to hear of it. So anyway, that was the first thing that we had as a problem. The second thing was when my second grade team got together, we divided up the students for math and decided that I was going to teach the high flyers. And they had a bunch of them. Great school, great parents. These kids really knew their stuff. And so I had like 30 kids in my class, and this was a holding school because our school is being renovated. And this classroom was really not meant for 30 kids. So anyway, I built centers around the room for after my focus lesson, and it was cool. They had to do a lot of challenging stuff, and I needed parents to come in and help them. So I had a parent come in and sit on her cell phone the entire time, and I told her, you cannot do that in my room. I said, if you're going to come back with that cell phone, I'm going to have to replace you. She came back in the next time, and I saw her doing it again, and I said, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed back in. She went and complained to my principal, and he said, you cannot ban a parent. And I said, yes, I can. She's not coming into my classroom. And so she didn't come in, and he was not happy about it. But that lady was not going to sit there on her cell phone. But anyway, that was problem number 2. Problem number 3 was I sat at home one weekend, like in November, and I wrote all these futuristic papers for each of my students explaining what they were going to be doing in their future. And they had to complete these really creative papers with their own ending to each one of the stories. And they had to use metaphors, they had to use adjectives and other forms of writing that we had been learning about. I thought it was a great idea, but one of the students couldn't understand that this was not her life, that this was not true. And her mom complained to the principal, even though all the other parents were like, this is wonderful. My child is writing about his future after he scores the winning goal in the World Cup and all these other things. I loved it. The kids loved it. Parents loved it, except for this one. And so he made me pull all those papers back and tell the parents that I'm sorry, but we cannot do this activity. So that was the third straw with me. And so after that happened in November-ish, we had a few run-ins after that, and it just didn't work out. And by the end of the year, the parents arranged for me to win a award from Montgomery County for my work with an autistic student in my class. And he was just wonderful, really smart kid. And his parents were very appreciative, as was the community. So it worked out really well with the community. I had a great time, but the principal and I did not get along. So that was it. I transferred out and I went to another school where I used all of that arts integration. That will be my next story.